Hey there YouTube, it's Jay's Beer Reviews, and I'm back with episode 2 reviewing Brickstone Brewing's Galaxy Down Under. So I told you guys a little bit of information about the IPA style category, so really in this episode I'm just going to get down to the nitty gritty and actually pour the beer and give it a taste, give you my descriptors. Like I said in the last episode, for troublesome, you can use in a regular American pint glass. I mean, if you go to the bar and you order an IPA, they're going to give it to you in one of these anyways. That's cool. There's nothing wrong with using that. Again, like I said, I do usually like using my Nonic more often than the American pint glass. But again, for a beer like this, I will end up using my Sam Adams glass. And if you can see it, there's a ring at the bottom there. So if you can see it, that ring gives nucleation sites for gas to form. So it actually takes a little bit of the carbonation out of the beer. The purpose isn't really to uncarbonate the beer, but the purpose is more to kind of get air going so you can smell the beer more. So it gives it a little bit of a little better aroma. And again, it's got like the little kind of tulip thing going on, so as you're drinking it, kind of gives you a little area to fill up with the beer gas aroma thing. So I like Sam Adams glass for when I'm tasting my beers, not so much when I'm ooh, ooh. So I like the Sam Adams glass for when I'm tasting my beers. Not so much if I'm like just sitting down having a whatever kind of beer. There's that. Let me go ahead and crack it open. And here we go. So, beer pours, honestly, it's pretty clear. I don't know if I'd say it's brilliantly clear, but it is very, very clear. Nice little bit of carbonation on there. Nice, little bit of head on there. Very white head. Oh my God, they must have filtered this beer. This is a very clear beer. So it's very appealing. If anything, I think it's a little light for the IPA style. But again, that's not a knock against them. It's just the direction they decided to go. This is actually, it's very light. It's very light, white head. Light and white. That sounds racist. So, the beer looks great. It's a great looking beer. Nice white head on it. The head is, for the most part, sticking around. Like, I didn't pour it like crazy or anything. So, it looks great. The aroma, I could smell it as I was pouring it, even as I was holding kind of up to the camera. I was getting whiffs of it. It's very, very fragrant. At a distance, I'm getting a kind of like flowery, perfumey kind of thing with a little citrus in there. The interesting thing, and the thing that is really unique for this beer, is when you get a big whiff of it. I get a kind of let's call it Band-Aid plastic character. You would think like, oh man, Band-Aids in your beer, that sounds disgusting. It is very unique, it's very interesting, it's very good. I mean, honestly, I like it a lot. That was the one thing that really struck me about Modus Operandi, and that's the one thing that really made me enjoy it a lot as my kind of like classic example of an IPA, is that it does have that little bit of a kind of like should I like this or shouldn't I? I'm not sure. It's everything I've grown up with, I've lived, has told me that that's a bad thing to have, this plasticky Band-Aid character. But in the beer, it just does it right, man. It's exactly what it's supposed to be. Now that kind of leads way to a little bit of I'm getting a kind of like mango character that's coming out of it. I've had some like like Mosaic. People say it's like, oh, super tropical fruity, super papaya and mango and guava and blah 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 blah. That's good descriptors. This one specifically is mango and grapefruit forward. That's a lot of what I'm getting out of this. And then even like that Band-Aid kind of character that I spoke of is really kind of falling into the background now that it's had a little bit of time to settle. Based on the style, based on IPAs I've had before, I know it's supposed to be super hoppy. I know it's supposed to be very like citrusy and really aggressive in the hopping and in the bitterness. This is really falling exactly in line with what I expect. So I'm really enjoying what I'm smelling right now. It smells fantastic. It's really great. So let me go ahead and give it a taste. Now I'll give you guys some descriptors here. Yeah. First thing that hits me again is that kind of like that Band-Aid character, and I'm getting it. Let's call it on the outskirts of my tongue. It's not so much slapping me kind of in the very middle here, but it's really on the tip of my tongue a lot, and then kind of on the sides here a little bit. It's got a fair amount of bitterness. You know, again, like I commented on the spreadsheet there, it said that it had 55 IBUs. A little low for style, I think. Again, in this beer, it just does it right. Much less malt character than I would expect from like really most traditional IPAs. You know, something like a Two Hearted at 7% is a lot more chewy than this beer is. It's really tasty. You know, in that last sip I took, in the aroma, I even call it a kind of like kiwi character. Very, very faint, very light, but very interesting. And the other thing I wanted to mention, I didn't say this before, but the color on this beer, again, it is very pale, it is very light. Maybe it's the can, but I get a kind of like suggestion of green that comes off of it. I mean, it can't be green, right? Like, there's not that much hops in it. Damn it if it's not convincing. It's good. It's really, really good. I was actually really excited to do this one because, you know, we got it in. Everything I've had from Brickstone has been fantastic. I really do. I love all of their beers. Everything they make is great. Even, you know, we get their Forbidden Wheat, which is just like a Belgian wheat with blood orange in it. Nothing special, but it's just really well done and really tasty, and it's kind of beats out a lot of the other competitors in that area. This Galaxy Down Under, it's one of the better IPAs I've had lately. It's really, really tasty. It's nice. It's got a nice bitterness to it. But you know, I've had some beers that are like so bitter that it kind of coats your tongue in almost like oil. You know, this beer is not doing that at all. It's got a nice sharp bitter character. Really quenches, like it kind of like washes out your tongue. You know, it makes it so that like I'm ready for my next sip. Like it's not, it doesn't have like a real lingering character, you know? I mean, the hops are there, the little bit of malt is there, but it's very much like I'm gonna punch you in the head with some hops, and then it's kind of gonna fade away, and I really just want to keep drinking it. It's really good. So I'm actually struggling a little bit for some descriptors for the malt. I mean, it's got, let me see. So honestly, I'm struggling a little bit with the malt. The hops are just very, very forward on this one. If I had to say anything about how the malt character is on it, I mean, obviously the mouth on it is very light. For an IPA, it's on the lighter side for sure. I also get a kind of like hard candy sweetness kind of up front. The hops and the bitterness there just really wash all of it away, and drinking this, I don't feel like it's a sweet beer at all. It's definitely on the drier side for me. It has the kind of like upfront, apparent character of almost like a sugar candy, you know what I mean? I'm convinced it's green. Even if you move the can away, it's still got a little green tinge. It's super good. I really like this beer. Now it's warming up a little bit. I'm getting a little bit more of a kind of grassy character. Yeah, I mean, hops in general can give you grassy, so I'm not going to go into all that. You know, the dry hopping aspect of it, literally adding whole cone hops or, you know, pelletized hops into your beer. You know, you can get a real kind of vegetal, grassy character. And I'm starting now to get a little bit of that as it kind of comes to temp. That Band-Aid, sticking around. You know, the one other thing I wanted to say about Brickstone is that I really have enjoyed all the beers that they make. You know, the first one I had from them was just their APA, their American Pale Ale. Honestly, if you have Brickstone's APA available to you, there's no reason to look for Zombie Dust because the APA is a much better beer. I personally don't like Three Floyds all that much. They make good beer, don't get me wrong. Their customer service isn't great. Like at my store, they're charging $13 for a 6-pack of Zombie Dust. That's if you can get Zombie Dust on the one day it's delivered, where we get maybe a case, maybe we don't get anything that day. That said, Brickstone is available all the time for $10 a 6-pack, and that's, you know, a great price. It's a better price. It's been judged to be a better beer. I see no reason to look for Zombie Dust when I have Brickstone's APA available to me. Like, I bring this up not to hate on Three Floyds, because they do make good beer. Brickstone is making actually really, really tasty beer. And I think that the Galaxy Down Under is another kind of notch on their belt for making beers that are different, good, and, you know, very well priced. This Galaxy Down Under is $10 for a 6-pack at my store. You know, again, for you, something like Two Hearted would be $11 at my store. Something like Sierra Nevada Pale Ale would be $10 at my store. So for Brickstone's Galaxy Down Under to be $10, which is right on par with pretty much all of the other IPAs on the shelf, this is really head and shoulders above most of the other IPAs that I've had recently. There are very few that I would say are better than this. Like very few, like less than a hand worth. Few. This is a really, really tasty beer. Again, it's something like, maybe you're going out, you want to bring a beer to a party or something, you're going to your friend's place. A 6-pack will do you right, and it will not be overwhelming. It's a nice light beer, very, very tasty. So I really have enjoyed tasting this one. I'm really looking forward to what Brickstone is going to be making in the future as well. So $10 for a 6-pack is a great price. So I highly recommend you pick it up if it's available to you. If it's not available, I'm sorry, because you're missing out. If you like my review, please go down, hit the like button, leave me some comments, leave me some questions. I'd be happy to get back to you guys. Thanks again for joining, and I will see you next time on Jay's Beer Reviews.